All right, hi there. This is Stephen with Karma Astrology. I'm back for a daily nakshatra and moon forecast, general astrology forecast. Today is Friday, May 7th, 2021. It's about 12 o'clock p.m. here. It's 11:50 in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I was going to just talk about the moon as it resides in Pisces up there in Uttara Bhadrapada. You see that MO is the moon in the top corner, and just above that you can see PIS is Pisces, that kind of box there. So, the moon entered Pisces yesterday, and that kind of is a very nice and settling energy and a nice sign for the moon to be in general. When the moon comes into Pisces, the moon shows our sensitivity, our emotions, our feelings, and our sense of connection with other people in general, and maybe our sense of nurturing and nourishment in a way. And when it comes into Pisces, Pisces is this dual water sign. It's ruled by Jupiter, and so what it shows is this capability of the dual aspect is kind of the ability in parts of Pisces to start something new or to finish something. And then the water aspect is about getting in touch with our feelings and our emotions, and this deep inner sense of inner expansiveness. And that kind of takes me to Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansiveness and meaning and finding hope in our lives. So when the moon comes into Pisces, we end up feeling more connected, more grounded, and just more sensitized to anything in our minds and our deep inner feelings, in the sense of the search for meaning inside our feelings and emotions. And that can tend to come up in terms of it can make us more mystical and more interested in ethereal subjects, and like astrology or any sort of metaphysical practices that you might take part in your daily life. So today in general, and just a little bit of yesterday and tomorrow and the next day are going to be great days for any sort of metaphysical practices that you take part in. That could be yoga or tantra or any sort of kundalini or whatever you're interested in, and whatever you like to do to connect to your spirit in a way. So the moon in Uttara Bhadrapada is the middle section of Pisces. So it's kind of the meat, or the center of Pisces. And Uttara means the latter, or the later, and just means the later. And Bhadra means blessed, and Pada means foot. And so it really translates to the later of the blessed feet. And that refers to the fact that this is part of the constellation of Pegasus in the sky, which forms a box, or this kind of bed. And since it's right in the last sign, Pisces is the 12th sign out of 12, it shows kind of the end of a cycle, or the end of a journey. And that could be just like a life cycle, or any sort of project that we're working on and we're kind of finishing up and getting close to that point of termination. And that's why they call this kind of box in the sky a funeral cot, or a funeral bed. But it's just a bed in general, and because the bed also represents the end of the cycle of the day. So we rest and we go into these deep states of consciousness, deep states of our subconscious mind when we rest. And that has a lot to do with this Uttara Bhadrapada energy, this kind of resting and depth of our inner awareness that that we can experience in the dream state, or even beyond the dream state, when we're past that REM cycle and we're in these deep states of sleep, and all of the kind of healing and rejuvenation that we experience in those deep states of sleep. So there is this sense of returning to it's kind of like laying down at the end of the day And so Uttara Bhadrapada in general has a lot to do with rest and relaxation and kind of uptaking and reflecting upon your day and all of your activities or whatever. If you're getting to the end of a project, reflecting upon the project and seeing, what was right, what was wrong, and what kind of power and energy that it created in your life, and that sense of deep meaning on the inside and how that feels to you. So that's kind of what we're going through in a little way. The deity, I like to talk about the deity. Maybe I'll first, since I mentioned where it was in the sky, I'll switch screens here and show you where it is. Okay, there's my little night sky. I use this timeanddate.com because they have a nice little sky map that shows you where the planets are and the moon and sun as they go through the zodiac. So here we are. And you can see that the moon, I'm going to fast forward it a little bit, or I guess rewind, as it's a little hard to see since the moon is getting really close to the sun. You see the sun over here, and that's in the end of Aries. We're about to have the new moon on Tuesday here in the US, maybe Wednesday wherever you are in the world, if you're in the eastern part of the world. And then the moon, as you can see, is in that kind of mid-section of Pisces there. And the cot that I was talking about is these 4 stars up here. Let's see. So a little closer to the end of the day, you can see these 2 stars represent Uttara Bhadrapada. Yesterday we were looking at Markab and Shiat, or however you pronounce that, as being Purva Bhadrapada. So this is the later half over here, these 2, and this is the earlier half of the Bhadrapadas. Just give you an idea, and then you can see Jupiter's over here in Aquarius, and Saturn's over here in Capricorn, and that Sun is in Aries over there, a little bit behind this this whole information area, but you can kind of see it there. So let me go back and I'll talk a little bit more about Uttara Bhadrapada now that you know what it looks like and where it is. Okay. So, and in case this is your first stream, you can check it out down here, how late it's going to be, or when it transits out of Uttara Bhadrapada, so that you can know how long this information is really active. It's really a daily sign that the moon goes through. The Vedic astrologers of the past made a 27 kind of division zodiac, and 28 at a certain period of time, and less and more. But in general, it's these 27 different equal sections of 13 degrees and 20 minutes that create the nakshatras that we talk about, that are kind of like the subsections of the signs. And if you, just gonna put in a shameless plug here, if you like these videos, give me a thumbs up to spread the love, and leave a comment below if you have any questions, if you're not in the chat, to ask me anything. And subscribe if you want to see these on a regular basis, because I do these every day. That's my little plug. Sorry to interrupt, but so let's get back to it. So going, just like thinking more about Uttara Bhadrapada, so the deity, or the kind of archetypal energy of Uttara Bhadrapada, is symbolized by the deity called Ahirbudnya. And Ahirbudnya is kind of called the serpent of the deep, because it relates to this god that kind of resided deep in the ocean, in the very bottom of the ocean, and it has this like depth of that Piscean still water energy that we can, which kind of relates to our deep inner feelings and emotions that are very deep below the surface, that we need to reflect a lot in order to bring them out. And that kind of relates to the Kundalini energy, that serpent energy, if you've ever heard of it. There's basically a coiled serpent, as they call it, in the depths of our body, in the base of our spine, or our spiritual spine, which is really not quite the spine, but a little bit in front of it. And it's at the coccyx, the base of our core. And that coiled serpent is kind of this latent spiritual energy that can be kind of sexualized when we're whatever, getting off or whatnot. But it also, instead of that direction kind of going out down there, we can bring it up through the spine and kind of spiritualize this whole inner potential and inner power through our deep kind of meditations and spiritual practices, that when we get really still, we're able to kind of tap in and allow this energy to kind of rise up, and that coiled serpent uncoils and goes up the spine. And I practice Kriya Yoga initiation, which is I guess given by Babaji to his disciples, and my guru is Paramahansa Yogananda, who talks about basically this Kriya Yoga initiation is a breath where you kind of feel the breath, the energy start at the base of your spine at that coiled serpent Kundalini center, and you feel it kind of as you breathe in, as you inhale. You can do this with me, or you can practice this now that I explain it. But as you breathe in, you're kind of imagining this energy kind of coming into the center and up through that Sushumna, that central channel, up into your third eye. It kind of goes up the neck into the third eye, to the tip of your frontal lobe of your brain on the inhale. And then on the exhale, you kind of imagine this warm kind of water washing over your skull and going down your back all the way down to that coccyx, your tailbone, the base of your core. And you can do that, they say, 14 times a day is like living a year of normal life in terms of the evolutionary forces that this creates. And Yogananda calls it kind of the jet airplane to enlightenment or to self-realization. And kind of this, it's like charging your body battery in a way. And so that's kind of the energy, is bringing up that Kundalini and making it rise and pulling in your third eye, that kind of seat of your willpower and your intuition in a lot of ways. And that has a lot to do with this Uttara Bhadrapada energy. And practices like this and other techniques that you might know or might be interested in learning about. Today's, first of all, a great day to do it, but a great day to learn about it too, and kind of finding a technique that works for you personally, that would allow your Kundalini to rise and that kind of spiritual depths of your feelings to kind of come over you and give you this sense of blissfulness. That's what we're going for here. So, this is my little spiel about Ahir Bunya. In terms of the symbol, I like to also talk about the symbol. There's a few symbols for this. There's the back legs of that funeral cot, or the cot, the bed. And like I was talking about Uttara Bhadrapada, the back of the blessed feet kind of shows our departure, our exit from the world of consciousness into the afterlife or into the dream state. There's also the symbol of the twins that's seen in this nakshatra, and it shows this kind of duality, and that's really related a lot to the dual aspect of Pisces as well, and that ability to kind of take a lot of action or be very receptive and still, the kind of like masculine and feminine qualities, or just to be able to start something new or finish something that's like very much related to this section of the sky, and the moon going through it makes us able to kind of be very versatile in our efforts to do things and to connect with ourselves in a way. So there's this like active sense of reflection that kind of comes from this section of the sky, and also this inner transformation that we go through here. Some general thoughts about Uttara Bhadrapada besides that. It gives us a sense of deeper connection to our intuition, like as you would imagine, through all these qualities, and therefore we're able to speak and write more effectively and intelligently. It's a good star for being able to, when the moon kind of comes through here, to control our emotions and control our sense of anger. At the same time, use that sense of discipline and self-control in order to hone it into getting something done, or like that rising Kundalini energy, like that spiritualization. There's a sense of kind of rest and relaxation and gentleness that lends itself towards a cheerful attitude and a generous nature on a day like today. So it's a nice day to be charitable and to kind of think about how we can help the rest of the world and help other people, evolve their consciousness and get to a higher state of awareness, or deeper into their inner core, their realized self, you could say, or actualized self. In terms of, it's a good day for growing things and for focusing on ways to be prosperous and expansive, as the Jupiterian energy tends to be this very benevolent and expansive and kind of meaningful, heartfelt energy that benefits the entire world, not just ourselves, but everyone around us as well. And ultimately, when we work on ourselves and when we improve our connection to our spirit, and it's easier to do that on a day like today, then we can actually be kind of shining examples or lights for other people to see how to do it themselves and lead through example, because that's really the best way to influence change in the world. There's a lot of this watery energy, as you can tell, like the underwater serpent and the Piscean energy. So it's definitely a feeling-oriented time. Water in general deals with the emotions and the feelings and that deep sense of inner, reflective, intuitive awareness. And in general, it can be really nice to take a bath or be in water on a day like today, or maybe drink a little bit more water than you would normally. So there's this sense of happiness. There's a religious kind of essence or spiritual feeling on days like today. That can lead to a lot of just very simple but profound kind of, I guess you could say, victories over our enemies, over our inner weaknesses, ideally, on a day like today. So it's a great day to make that progress and to focus on it. And then I'll just kind of get into, I guess, auspicious and inauspicious, or strengths and weaknesses first. It can make us a good speaker, like I was saying, on a day like today. The moon in Uttara Bhadrapada gives us a heightened sense of, problem-solving abilities. It makes us more disciplined and compassionate, that kind of watery compassion. It gives us a connection to our principles, because with our principles, they're kind of the underlying foundation and the grounding energy that we need in order to be still enough and have the techniques in order to allow this Kundalini energy to rise, the spiritualization to unfold. Gives us a sense of generosity, as I was saying. There tends to be more financial success on a day like today. We are more economical, humanitarian. There's a heightened intelligence on a day like today. We're also kind of braver and more interested in exploring the unknown, and those kind of depths of our consciousness in a way, and the depths of maybe anything that we're studying or learning about. There's this sense of virtue, because we're trying to do righteous things, and we're getting to the end of life where we're trying to kind of be karmically neutral, or I guess reflect upon the good and the bad and the different things that we've done throughout the day or throughout this life cycle, or whatever we're going through, whatever cycles that we're going through. So there's this sense of understanding the whole picture and getting that broader perspective of how meaningful it is to connect to ourselves and our spirits and the spirits of others, and getting kind of deep down into that connection land, that watery, flowy, kind of almost like the sense of oneness or bliss consciousness. Today is a good day, like I said, for control. It helps us control our anger when the moon's in this section of the sky, or any sort of aggression that we might have, and that helps with Mars energy. If you have Mars in this nakshatra or part of the sky, it can really soothe you a little bit to have the moon there. And then in terms of more of the shadow side, it can make us more withdrawn and isolated, because it is this kind of reflective energy at the end of the day, and we need to, instead of being more extroverted and external, it's more auspicious, and it's definitely lends itself more towards being alone. But that can also lead to this sense of kind of turning inside and maybe feeling a little too sad or depressed or withdrawn from the world and disconnected in a way. So it's good to kind of, flip that on its head and use our sense of internal reflection in order to maybe reflect on how much, we really do love others. And, there's like metta practice, this loving kindness practice. So it's a good time to, recite mantras and do like loving kindness, internal loving kindness practices. And you don't even have to be around other people to appreciate them and get close to them in that regard. And that's one of the beautiful things of today. In general, other shadow issues can be that it gives us, it can kind of kill our motivation if we're not really connected to our spirit, if we're not focused on that, and we're kind of unconsciously going through the day. We can feel that isolation leading to a sense of apathy. There's a strong sense of apathy when in Pisces in general, but definitely, we might be asking ourselves, what's it all about? Why am I even alive? What is this body for? Like, why are we here? There's a lot of this existential crisis and existential wonderings and all sorts of questions that might be coming up in our minds on a day like today. So it's good not to get too dark with it, but it's great to reflect on it and see, get closer to that meaning of life, whatever that is for you. We can, with all this reflection, another shadow issue is that we can overanalyze things a little too much and spiral. So it's important to kind of catch yourself before you spiral out of control a little too much. The thoughts tend to do that. That's their nature. And it can make us more self-centered because of that isolation if we're not focusing on our kind of ethereal connection to all. And then in terms of, it can make us a little lazy too if we're not really connected either. So it's a good time to really focus on this divine connection between all of us that's always in existence, whether or not we feel it, and to make attempts to really feel it and get in touch with it. And that oftentimes comes up. I love to meditate on just maybe my pets and how dear they are to me and how much I love them, and then kind of spread that to partners and family and friends and the world and in general the universe. And it really, on a day like today, it fills you with all sorts of wonderful feelings if you're able to really sense that true connection that we all share. And so in terms of favorable activities, it's nice to do things that are peaceful, that are gentle. It's a great day for researching things, for psychic development, as I've been talking about, for meditating. It's actually a good day for sexual activities, for any sort of financial transactions. There is, it's a good day to do art and to use that sense of creativity. There's a lot of creativity in this watery, intuitive section of the zodiac in Pisces. It helps with curing things and treating diseases. That is also a quality of water as well. It's a great day to take a bath for that, in that reason, or take a shower and to use those that to really intentionally let that water kind of cleanse you energetically more than just physically. I mean, on the physical level, of course, but when you're really, water is this beautiful purifying element that that cleanses our body when we drink it. It purifies our toxins, us from the toxins that we breathe in and that we eat and stuff like that, and we drink sometimes. But the water really allows it to work its way through our system and to process it and expel it, and purify ourselves in a way. And beyond the physical, it does that in the mind. When we just focus on that. Just how wonderful water feels on our body. Now, I have a lot of planets in water signs, and I have my Rahu, or my North Node, in Uttara Bhadrapada, so I definitely am kind of obsessed with the idea of this energy and this purification in a lot of ways. Let's see my notes. In terms of unfavorable activities, on the other hand, it's not a great day to travel. It's more of like kind of a stay-at-home kind of day. Not a good day to take any sort of aggressive action, or like suing someone, or confronting anybody in a very harsh way. That was more of the last few days. It's not a great day for just too much exertion of energy. We don't need to be too fierce or aggressive on a day like today, and when we act with too much energy, we can kind of lose touch with the very sensitive and subtle energies that are available to us to tap into on a day like today, at the kind of the close of the zodiac. So that's gonna do it for Uttara Bhadrapada. We're coming up on that new moon in Aries. I'm really excited about that. That's kind of the new year. Although the sun has been in Aries for a little while, but it's the new moon in Aries is definitely, for me, the time in which that cycle starts. That new moon is like the new beginnings, and Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. Pisces is the last. So you can see Pisces over there. Yeah, that's better. If I point with that hand, there's Pisces in the corner, and there's Aries, so the moon is kind of slowly approaching the sun, and that's why it's such a small crescent on a day like today. And so that's going to be exciting and hopefully inspiring for people. And other than that, I think that's gonna do it for the day. So I hope you got a lot out of this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Spread the love, let's see if I hope to grow this channel and get some more interaction in this chat, and feel free to join me next time. I'm going to try and do these in the mornings here in the US. And yeah, otherwise hit the subscribe button if you want to see more of these. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever. And otherwise, I will catch you tomorrow. Have a great day, peace and love, and enjoy that water. Take care.